job keeping up with it.
We're going to go over here in the back and then up here to Jeff.
Justin Schuler kicking the tires. First off, Alex, congratulations. You're now a multi-winner in the Cup Series.
Thank you.
I guess the real question is, I believe, if I remember correctly, your contract is only through 2020. So does this win kind of help make that conversation a little bit easier for negotiating an extension again?
No, he's going to need multiple wins, so we're going to work on that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love Gregory. Every year is a contract year. Every year of my life in the Cup Series has been a contract year. I've had contracts, and 2 weeks before Daytona, read a tweet that said I'm not going to Daytona. So there's never a situation that I feel completely comfortable in. You know, I feel like if somebody doesn't want you driving their race car, you're not going to be there driving it. So I'm as motivated as ever, doing everything I can to try to be the best on and off the racetrack as I can be. Hendrick Motorsports is where I want to be. It's where I want to stay for the rest of my career. I don't have it's just where I've always wanted to be. It's where I want to stay. So hopefully we can make that happen. But like you said, it is a contract year. But honestly, every year of my career has been a contract year, so it's not much different than last year.
We're going to go to Jeff, then to Bob, and then to Kathy.
Jeff Glueck from the You can hear me. Jeff Glueck from the Athletic. You know, there was some question even after Vegas where it was like, how much gain do the Chevys really make? And you go out and do this today, so it's clear that there's been a lot. Is it this good? Like, did you make it seem even better than it is today, or like is it somewhere in the middle? Like, how do we judge how big of a gain Chevy as a whole has made so far?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like Phoenix is going to be a good judge of that. I feel like our 1.5 mile program was very strong last year. So at the end of the year, I feel like if we would have come here, we would have been strong anyway. I think the new body has helped us a lot. The new Camaro, any change we make for a reason, and Chevrolet did a great job with that car. So I think on the intermediate stuff, it's really showing up. Phoenix, I think we finished like 25th there in the fall last year. We were absolutely horrendous. So hopefully we can go there and run a ton better. But it's hard to say this early in the year, but I think the new car is quite a bit better. I think Greg has done a really good job this year too. I mean, like I said earlier, we've never unloaded so close 2 weeks in a row. We've never unloaded that close, period. And to do it 2 weeks in a row has been really cool. So he's making my job easy right now for sure. Not easy, but easier, and it's definitely paying off.
We'll go to Bob and then to Kathy.
Hi, Chris, Fox Sports. I have one for each. Alex, can you describe the pressure of trying to win when you know you have the best car versus trying to win when you don't?
I don't really think it's that much different. You know, I think there's a lot of pressure regardless to win races when you drive for Hendrick Motorsports. I feel like that pressure, I drive for the best team in the sport, so I feel like that's where a lot of the pressure comes from. I feel like I have one of the best crew chiefs in the sport. Definitely have the best pit crew on pit road. So there's a lot of best things that I got to back up and do my job with. So I put a lot of pressure on myself. There's a lot of pressure that goes on. But however the car is, you're going to get what you can get. And we knew we had a good one this week, and we knew we had a shot at it.
And Greg, we've seen NASCAR penalizing teams the last couple of weeks from what they're seeing things on cars. Do you feel like, is there a big crackdown? Is it just early in the year and teams are trying things? How would you kind of evaluate?
Yeah, I think it's up to crew chiefs. That's their job, is to try to see where the line is, and sometimes you got to cross it before you understand where it is. Fortunately for us, there's what Alex talked about with the Chevrolet has been able to maybe not made us not have to go as far and work in the areas that we typically had to, and just downright have speed in the car. So that's been very good from my standpoint, to be able to unload and know we have a solid baseline and not have to chase and try to find speed. And when you do that, sometimes you get desperate and sometimes you get over the line.
We'll go to Kathy, and then right behind her in the middle.
Kathy Brown, pitting outside the box. Congratulations, Alex.
Thank you.
Take us through some of the restarts, because they seem like they were insane. I mean, 3 and 4 wide, and you were right there in the thick of it. Is it a testament to the package that was brought here, or is it just Auto Club Speedway and the fact that the racing surface has basically never been resurfaced?
Yeah, I think the restarts were that way for a couple reasons today. The track was pretty cool, so the grip level was up. So for 5 or 6 laps, pretty much everybody could run wide open. When everybody can run wide open, you can all go about the same speed, which means it's more about drafting and lane choice and building those runs, which turns into running 4 and 5 wide. So I didn't feel like we did a great job over any of the restarts. It seemed like there was a "Don't push me" sign on my rear bumper, but I'm glad we finally got up, had a good one there at the final one. But it's a culmination of pretty equal grip level from top to bottom here, and just being able to run wide open for those first couple laps on tires.
Jim Alexander from Southern California News Group. You had, I guess it could be called a gap year in 2017. What has that done for you to have that year to kind of step away and be in the simulator and not worry about the week-to-week pressure of winning and maybe develop things?
Yeah, I don't think it developed any good things for me, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think there's ever a time that sitting out of a race car is a good situation for a race car driver. For me, it was I knew I wanted to be at Hendrick Motorsports, and I quite honestly had talked to Dale at that point and knew there might be an opportunity the following year, and just knew that sitting out was probably my only opportunity to end up at Hendrick Motorsports someday. So it was kind of one of those, you have to do it. But it also opened up some weaknesses to start in 2018 when you're not on and off pit road every week a couple times, when you're not doing green flag stops every week, not in a race car every week. I mean, you get rusty and you're not always improving. Every driver here is always improving and always learning what they're doing. So I took a year, and all I got to do was I ran 3 races and I tested. So I don't feel like I learned as much as I would have if I would have been full time. But I did get to take a break and kind of hang out and not. I had a day job. I drove the simulator a lot. I got addicted to coffee. So when they need you in the simulator at 7:30 in the morning every morning, you start drinking coffee so you stop falling asleep in it. But that's probably the one good thing it developed was my love for coffee.
Go right here to your left.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex, great win, mate.
Thank you.
Have you had any other driving aspirations like Marcus Ambrose? He came and did some NASCAR. Are you thought about doing some supercars in Australia?
I would love to. I'll race anything. I'll race a lawnmower. I'll race the rental cars. We'll probably race the rental cars back to the airport. Don't tell California Highway Patrol. But it's... I just want to say, so I'm from Arizona.
So he said drivers are continuously learning.
So I'm from Arizona. This quick story, because last time we were in the media center, we won. It was a total shit show. So we're just going to go back to that.
Yeah, it was going great there for a while.
So growing up in Arizona, I raced quarter midgets down the road from here at Pomona Valley all the time. So I'd get off school Thursday. Me and my dad would load up in the truck and trailer, and we would drive to Pomona. And in Arizona, there's only one speed limit. Trucks and cars were all 75. And then we would get into California, and they'd have this dang 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, and we got pulled over a lot. Like, a lot. One time, my dad didn't have a CDL, and you're supposed to have a CDL, and, he was going to jail. So, yeah, don't tell CHP about the rental car return lot. But, yeah, I'll race anything. Back to your question. Forgot there was a question there. I would love to run a V8 supercar. That'd be really cool. I think Bathurst is a really cool event. But anywhere they run, I mean, they beat the shit out of each other. They have a good time. It looks like a blast.
It's usually street, track, and Mount Panorama in Bathurst is a real tough one. And a lot of American drivers have gone there and said, hey, we need a track like this here in America. So, we'd love to see you.
Yeah, I played it on iRacing a lot. and I've wadded them up a lot there. So I probably need some more practice before I go for it, but it's a lot of fun.
Before we continue, are there any other questions for Greg? We'll come down here to Jeff and then to Jim.
Can I ask you about Phoenix next week? Because obviously it's the first time that you guys are going to be able to have the championship race be also in the regular season. How important is that going to be for teams?
Well, I think it's really important just to not be embarrassed like we were last time there. So, we kind of had a stranglehold on that place for a while, winning with Dale and then, almost winning with Alex and having a lot of confidence going to that track, and then to kind of fall flat on your face is not a really good feeling, especially when I know it's his hometown. I know we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to run well there. And, I don't care if it's the championship or race or not. I want to win at any place we go and not be embarrassed. So that's my goal for Phoenix, is to go out there, unload just as fast as we did here, execute a good race, and, whatever happens at the end of the year is going to happen. But we got to learn, we got to continue to grow, and that's kind of my focus next week.
Go back to Jim.
JimHunterMotorsport.com for Greg, and Alex can answer from driver perspective if you want. But you guys obviously put in a lot of work in the offseason because you wanted to get better. You also had a new car. You're also going to be going to another new car next season. To see a lot of positive results this early in the year, what does that do for everyone back at HMS that's working on these various projects to see the return so quickly?
Yeah, I think the one thing that, I kind of talk about a lot is the fact that when Chevrolet said they're going to commit to working hard to try to improve the body, that put a sense of morale throughout the whole shop, throughout the whole team, a lot of positive, attitudes towards it. And, it was our job as a team, my job as a crew chief, his job as a driver, to go out there and execute it, right? And, the last few years haven't been great for Hendrick Motorsports on what they're historically used to and the platform that we show up at the racetrack at. So we need to take that positive momentum of the hard work Chevy put in, and we needed to put that to results on the racetrack. Whether it was top 10, top 5s, it's great to have the win, but continuously building that momentum is something that is needed in a shop environment. It's needed when the guys turn on the TV and they see the racing we had today, and their product was on the racetrack, competing for laps, competing on pit road. It's a totally different vibe, totally different feeling, and I know when I show up next week or tomorrow morning in the shop, it's going to be a totally different feeling than what I had last year coming out of California.
Are there any?
Retweet.
Wait, what I said.
Are there any questions up in the press box or the terrace for Greg before we let him go?
Yes, we have two questions.
Sweet.
Wolfgang Monser from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. First of all, congratulations for both of you. One question for Alex and one for Greg Ives. Alex, after the race, I think one of the TV commentators said you led 110 laps out of 200. How difficult was it to stay focused and not doing a mistake?
Yeah, I think the most difficult time was when we did get behind on those restarts. Really just felt like I really would have to burn my stuff up to get back to the 12 and then not be able to get around him and then eventually drive away from us. So that was the most difficult time. Our car was really good, and it was really hard for me to decipher whether I burned the car up or we needed to make a change. And I kind of went with my gut and thought that I just burned the tires off of it, and that we could, if we could get in front of the 12 and not have to pass 5 guys to get to them, we could stay in front of them. So I'm not sure if we made any changes or not because Greg doesn't really tell me anything. Apparently my tire was going to explode and he didn't tell me, but it's cool. So that was the most difficult time.
And the question for Greg Ives. I was told that Goodyear giving recommendations concerning tire pressure for each track. Technically in your team, do you have a possibility to make simulations to find out where the critical factor is?
Yeah, we have people back at the shop that all they do all week long is work with the Goodyear engineers, work with simulation, work with tools, whether it's wheel force data to understand where the optimum pressure is for tire based on grip, but also based on failure. So there's There's sometimes when you want to get greedy and get to a level that's not in ingredients what Goodyear wants, but you're chasing some grip, and you just got to figure out how to get there without having failure. Our issue this week with the right rear tire is just the fact that, to be fast and continue to have lap time, you're on the right rear tire, and it went down to the fabric, and that's what we want. We want tires that wear out, but what tires that don't, give out and blow. So, we had tires last week at Vegas that wore out and gave you an indication of where you were, but didn't blow out. Same here, at California. Goodyear, I feel is doing a great job this year of giving what the drivers want, what the crew chiefs want, and ultimately what the fans want, and the fall off in racing and the side by side, and they're doing a great job.
We'll take that last question upstairs for Greg, if there is one.
Actually, it's for Alex.
Okay. All right. Greg, we will let you go. Thank you. All right. Go ahead with that question for Alex.
Chris Knight Catch Fence. Alex, congratulations on the victory.
Thanks.
I was just curious last week with the outcome of the race at Las Vegas, knowing that you had a car that was capable of winning the race, how much motivation did you have this week at Auto Club to come here and finish what you started there?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've had a lot of motivation every week. There's a lot of outside pressure. There's a lot of pressure from myself. I just want to win races. That's all there is to it. When I come here and don't run well, and people think I look mad or upset or I'm not friendly, you're dang right. I want to win races. I don't like running bad. So I want to run well for me and my team. And last week, it would have been really easy to get down on each other, start second-guessing each other based on that ending. And my team never second-guesses me. I never second-guess Greg and the guys. And instead of taking that defeat and getting upset about it, we took the positives from the end of the race and definitely rolled it into positive momentum coming here.
Are there any other questions for Alex? In the back to Lee.
So what's the deal with the tattoos?
Oh, man. So one of my good buddies, Aaron Gillespie, he's a drummer in Under Oath, drummer and backup vocals. He was in Paramore for a little while. It's kind of a big deal if you're into that scene. We made a bet at Daytona. They were pretty much everybody from Under Oath was at Daytona. We made a bet that if I won, we were getting 88 tattoos. And then it just never stopped. We've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks. Apparently, I have to get a neck tattoo, which I'm not real sure that that's really going to happen or not. But yeah, we're next time we're all together, I guess we're all going to get tattoos.
Any last questions? All right. Thanks, Alex. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.